What's up guys, Ben here, bringing you another video today. I'm recording this on Tuesday morning, and the Breaking Point Fantasy Competition has just rolled out for this week. Make sure you get your picks in before matches start on Friday. I'm going to do a video explaining my choices for this season. Let's dive in and break down what I think is probably one of the toughest seasons so far for this competition. All right, so after I won Major 1 this competition, I put in a very similar team for Major 2, and unfortunately, as you guys can see here, and annoyingly, by the way, because I hate losing to this guy, Pat beat me by about 28 points, give or take, for Major 2. I think him kind of getting that Kenny stack, I think the Kenny play was really good for him and getting a couple of extra points, and I think Boston also going deeper would have helped me. But still, not too bad. Second place, I mean, the first time I played was Champs, and I won that overall for all the competitors. Major 1, obviously, I won, and then the Twitter competition, then this for second. So trying to go and see if I can win 2 out of 3, do a little bit of an Atlanta phase run. Let's see what we have in store for us this major. All right, so if you've never played this before, basically you pick 4 players. They have dollar amounts attached to them, and they add up, or you need to add up to 25 in order to be able to submit your team. Now, in the past, there is a lot of really obvious value I thought out there with looking at previous event performances. But this time around, I think a lot of like the go-to options that I would pick are kind of taken at the moment. So the other problem too is last couple of majors, you had a lot of players at the $5 and $4 amount that I thought were way too undervalued, and they were sort of obvious plays. You don't really have that much now. The 5 and 4s are a lot of the bottom tier teams. Now, here's the problem of picking one of those players. The way that the scoring works, and unfortunately it's not public, so I'm not exactly sure the full algorithm, but basically you want to pick teams that go pretty deep in the tournament and not teams that are just going to win a couple matches online and lose on Friday. Like, you need people to play a lot of games, you need them to play decent, and you need them to make like top 3 or top 4. That will get you max amount of points and get you sort of the, 2050, 2030 mark, which is going to be pretty good overall. If you can get closer to 2500, you probably have a very good chance of winning. So that's what's going on there. So let's walk through, I think, what I'm going to do for my team in this time around. So normally the way I do this is we do like an 8, a 6. I was just say hypothetically say I do this. I'm not picking these players, but I usually do this and then another 6 and then a 5. I think that's what I might do this time around. I've experimented in the past with doing like a $7 player and then doing either like double 5s or, a double 4. It's just hard because I don't think the $4 amount, Nasty, Clayster, Mac Pro, Accuracy, and Polex is a lot of good value in there. Obviously, Mac would be the one player that I would maybe make that play for, but you got to really hope that Seattle rebounds, and I'm not entirely sold. So I think for now, what I'm going to do is go with the 8 and a double 6 and a 5. So let's dive in who I think I'm going to pick. Let's start with the $5 amount, and I think there's really only one play here. At least that I'm pretty confident in. I think Cammy might be an interesting one if you think that he's going to kind of step it up for Rocker. But I do think that Hook's going to play a little bit better this major cycle. Obviously, I expect Opt to get like top 3 or top 4 at the event, so he's going to get a decent amount of points. I'm looking to see him hit like the 300 target. So we go to like last event. This is obviously Major 2 stats. Kyler hit about 276, and this is with them come up a little bit short and him not playing that good. So if he can get in the 300 number, I'll feel pretty good about the value I'm getting at this price point. And again, why I'm staying away from Cam is Cam's in a similar boat in terms of points, and he was playing, as kind of mid as Kyler was, aka Hook. But I just think that Optic's going to get a little bit deeper in the tournament than Toronto will. So going with that for my 5. So the $8 one gets a little bit interesting. We have a couple of potential picks that we can do here, and we're going to need to think this through. We have the 2 New York players, Kismet and Skies, which are always good plays in this competition. We have 2 players on Toronto, Inside and Standy. We have Slasher from FaZe, Kenny, and Reese Vivid, all as $8 options. So we need to decide. We can only take one of those. We need to decide which one we want to go with. I love Austin, but I don't think he's the highest ceiling player on this list. I like Reese. He's very consistent, Reese Vivid, scoring in this competition, but again, I want to see a little bit more from Boston, although I will pick a Boston player later in this. We'll get to that. Insight and Standy are decent options, but, I'm not entirely sold that they're going to play as well as other players on this list. Guys is a go-to I've done in this competition in the past. I would take him over Kiz, but they're both good choices. I'm actually going to go with Kenny for this one. I'm going to kind of keep rolling the Thieves because I feel like Thieves are a team that's going to go deep. And if we take a look at previous scores from the last event, Kenny actually ended up getting 500 points, and I don't think that he played to his potential. So I think his ceiling is a little high in the sort of high 500s, maybe 600s, where you see like draws is at, which would get me good value at 8. So I'm gonna go with Kenny there. All right, so we have 13 left, so that means we could spend about 12. So we're gonna go with double sixes, or we can go with a 7 and a 5. But again, I don't think there's a lot in the 5 that I really like, and I think there's some good value at 6. My first $6 choice we're gonna go with is Dan Ghosty. Dan obviously joining Optic Gaming this split, and I expect them to go pretty deep in this competition. I expect Dan to slay really well with an AR in his hand, be a really good player in search. I think do a lot of dirty work and also get a lot of points doing it. So I think there's good value. I think he's undervalued at 6. And then my last pick at 6, we're going to go with my guy, Ben Beans. We're going with the double rookies in this one. And I like, again, same thing on Boston. I think Ben's going to be sort of a game changer player coming in for Boston. Beans will obviously fill in method spot. Between him and Big Wake, though, I see them holding down the AR position well. Again, he's another player that get a lot of picks in S&D and be really impactful in the game mode. So that's going to be really good for my points. And I expect Boston to do pretty good in this tournament. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking team-wise. I mean, you could kind of, if you wanted to, you can kind of do this a little bit differently. Like, there's another way that you can do this where, let's say I went with a double 8s, and then I had to pick a $4 player. So let's just say I went with Mac. I just think with this play is you're still kind of putting all your eggs in the 2-player basket with your 8 plays, and you're kind of hoping that your $4 thing hits. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of underperforming. So that's why I like the double 6 a little bit better, because I think there's some good value with the 2 rookies here. I think that at worst, they're going to be kind of mid-pack, which is okay. And I think I'd get kind of enough points to place decently in this. I just think there's not really an obvious hat this time around where I was saying there's like a sure thing. I think this is a go play. And also what I've done here is kind of split my eggs into sort of 4 team baskets, which can be dangerous in this competition. You can kind of try and double up on teams as you want. And I actually have done that with Dan Ghosty and Hook here. But Beans and Kenny, I think this is like, I feel good that I have 2 of the top 3 teams. I'd love to get a phase player in here, but Beezy, Simp, Cell are all kind of outpriced. And I just can't take Slasher over Kenny. I think Austin, when it comes to this game mode, does score decently, and I don't think he played his best COD at the last event, but I think Ken's probably got higher ceiling than him. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna go ahead and click the submit button. We're gonna say okay, and that is our team here for this tournament. Excited to see how the 2 rookies do for me. See Kyler step it up a little bit, and Kylo can play a little bit better. I picked a full upside team, and we'll see how this works for me. Might not work this major split, but we're trying a different strategy, and if I can lift a virtual trophy at the end of this, I'll be super excited. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the team, what teams that you guys have submitted as well. We'll put a link into the Breaking Point website as well in the description so you guys can register your teams and play along. Make sure that you submit them by Friday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, I'll be putting out my first week predictions video for these Friday, Saturday, Sunday matches. Taking a look at the spread of matches. I think there's some really difficult ones to pick. So we'll break through that on the video tomorrow. I do a Q&A video as well later this week. And then I got some interesting content coming up this weekend. So stay tuned for that. As always, like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more. And we'll see you guys on the next one.